Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Ryley Thompson here, and we are back with another episode of the Living the Canadian Dream podcast. Today, I am here with Ryley Garcia. Ryley, welcome.
Hello.
Virtual welcome. Thank you for joining
Oh,
me today.
thank you.
I've been wanting to have you on for a while. It's like we're family. And
Like,
it's like we're family. But yeah, you're on the other side of Canada doing great things. But yeah, I'm excited that I'm able to have you on. I'm forcing people to come on like yourself that have wanted to come on because now they have no excuse during this pandemic. So it's just
you can't go anywhere.
yeah, you can't go anywhere. Cool. So what's up? What's going on with your life? Tell me a little bit about yourself. I don't know you that well. What's up?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I I put you on to go to sleep every night.
Good.
Yeah.
Definitely puts people to sleep.
Well, I'm an illustrator and an animation artist. So I work in the animation industry, doing things like backgrounds, concept art, character design. I was just working at a studio called Atomic on a 3D show as a 3D designer. I can't really say the name of the show, but it's pretty cool. It has something to do with superheroes, I'll say that much.
It's great. Love it.
And actually, in April, I just finished illustrating my first children's book. It's a Christmas book, so
That's
something
awesome.
to look forward to.
Yeah, that's great. So how long have you been doing illustration? When did you get into art? Just art in general, illustration, and then sort of branching into animation.
Well, like my brother, like we've been drawing since we were kids.
Yeah.
In high school, towards the end of high school, I kind of wanted to get into like animation stuff, but I never thought I could do it. So I kind of picked a different route. I'm like, I'll do architecture instead because it's kind of artsy and a little bit more possible, I guess, which is like totally backwards. So then I studied. I actually have a degree in architecture from the University of Toronto.
Yeah.
And then when I graduated, I decided this isn't for me. So I actually took a whole left turn and I went to Seneca College and I studied illustration and animation. And then, I've been working since then. It's been a long post-secondary life, but I don't know, it's worth it, I'd say. Sometimes it just takes a little bit longer to get where you want to be.
Which is all part of it. And you've learned so much all along the way, right? Like all these different experiences help you with not only like your style, but just your art in general, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think if I would have just went right into animation, I wouldn't be as passionate about it, not knowing like the stuff I didn't want to do. I think that's just as valuable as knowing what you want to do because, the grass is always greener kind of thing.
No, for sure. Even when it comes to like jobs and stuff, like if you do like a horrible part-time job, like I've worked some pretty, just not fun, just not enjoyable, just like horrible environment, part-time work, when I was a kid. And it's just like, that you never want to do that. So
well, it's true. It's like when I was in animation school and even when I work at studios, you can tell the people that have only worked in this industry and they complain. They're like, oh, I don't want to draw. Like you're drawing for a living. Like it could be so much. You could be, selling dope, like, making coffees for someone.
Yeah.
Like I think it's important to have those experiences so you can appreciate.
No, it's so true. And I can definitely see that. Like they're so used to like the environment, like, oh, we only have 3 different types of K-cups. But like, it's crazy. People get comfortable, right? But if you've had those like shitty experiences in part-time work, I don't know, it just helps you grow and sort of understand what you don't like.
And the people that have had those experiences, when they actually find the career that they want, they don't want to do those shitty jobs ever. So they try so much harder. They hustle because they know what it's like on the other side.
Yeah. Have you, what was the worst job that you've ever worked?
I mean, it's like I've worked in restaurants. I worked in Chrysler at the car plant. That was probably the worst in terms of like physical demand.
Okay.
It's just 8 hours of repetition.
Yeah.
But again, like I don't regret these experiences.
For sure. Yeah. It helps you grow
I think everyone has to do customer service at some point in their life, and they just realize that, as Tom Segura says, some people suck.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I think that's important to learn.
No, it's so true. No, and I totally agree with that. Like, even if it doesn't even if it's just like, still an okay job, like there's parts of jobs that aren't fun. Like I hated, I did not enjoy being a buggy boy. I was a buggy boy for
Yeah, me too.
yeah. And I, especially when it came to the weather, when it was bad outside, it's just like, this is the worst job of all time.
Yeah, pushing them on ice. And then also, like, when you get older, when you see people doing those jobs, like kids in high school,
Yeah.
You have a little bit more respect for them.
Of course, yeah. I
'Cause you've
always
been
put my
there.
cart back. I always put my cart back.
Yeah.
And that makes me a good person.
Yeah. I try not to, I don't kick them over as much
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. I love it. So in terms of animation, what do you do in animation? What does that even mean for people that don't know?
Well, a lot of people think that people in animation, like, they're just the people that draw like the frame to frame drawings, but it's not that simple. Like, there's the people that draw just the characters. There's the people that draw the storyboards, which is like a rough of the whole episode. There's the people that draw just the backgrounds behind the characters. And that's just drawing. And there's the people that do the coloring, people that do the effects. So I'm not really a person who likes to animate, like drawing frame to frame. It's a lot of repetition. So I'm the guy that draws like and paints like the backgrounds. And I'm a designer. So that means I can design props. If a chair needs to be designed for an episode, design if a character needs to be designed, an environment. Every little thing you see on screen has been designed. It's not, especially movies like Pixar movies, DreamWorks movies. Everything, like every little poster, every little chair is its own character.
Yeah, for sure.
Contributes to the story. So when you look at that frame, you look at that scene, it's telling you something. It's telling you where to look, how to feel, what colors are there. Nothing's taken for granted.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, you really start to appreciate animation a lot more.
Yeah, which makes sense. And it's interesting that you found something that you enjoy too. Just because I think a lot of people just have a general idea about what animation is, what art is in general. And it's just like, oh, you do everything. But, it's segmented just like any other job.
Yeah, it's a whole team, it's a whole pipeline. And if you can't get along with other people, like, there's no way you can do it. There are people that do everything, but it takes years. Like, for an episode of like I worked on Rick and Morty, it would take like almost a year for an episode to get done.
Yeah.
And that's with a team of like 50, 60 people.
Yeah. Which is amazing. How does it feel to have your name on the end credits of Rick and Morty? How cool is that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, it's the first time I saw it, I'm like, whoa, like, I'm famous.
Yeah.
But then, like, because I've seen, like, working on the show, you see animatics, you see versions of the episode that aren't done. Like, first you'll just see like rough picture to pictures with the voice actors. And then you'll start to see like, okay, now there's animation, now there's backgrounds, now there's some effects.
Yeah.
You see like different phases of each episode. So when you actually see the final episode, it's not that glamorous because you've seen it so many times. You've heard the dialogue so many times.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still cool. Like, when you see it done, you're like, whoa, like, this is how it's done.
Like how it started, then how it finished, which is great.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's really, like, feels really good to be up there and like, look what I did. It's kind of validation. Like, I know a lot of like, even probably with our family, there's people that are, when I told them I wanted to get into animation or art, they're just like, oh, everyone always has that starving artist stereotype of an artist.
Yeah.
You always like, they're always concerned for you, but like, once you show them like the credits for something like this, or even like how I'm gonna have my own children's book illustrated and my name's gonna be on that, it's kind of validation. It shows them like, oh, this is actually a career. This is just because it's drawing doesn't mean it's not important.
Yeah, for sure. No, it makes sense though. In the recent season of Rick and Morty, I noticed some smudging on the backgrounds.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was your work or somebody that you know.
I guess I sneezed on the computer. Yeah.
Probably, or you needed a coffee or something. I don't know. What's your favorite episode of Rick and Morty?
I like it wasn't even in the season that I did. I like the interdimensional cable episodes.
Oh, those are so good. Yeah.
Just the clip shows. They're so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. The door one is good too.
Yeah. In the new season, the one with the dragons
Oh yeah.
and like have the orgy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that was so good.
That's crazy.
They're
Yeah,
so
I
creative, but a lot of people are complaining that like it takes so long for episodes to be made. But
yeah,
I'd rather have really well thought out writing than have stuff that's pushed out. Like, I
for
mean,
sure.
The Simpsons is a good example. They just push out episodes every
Yeah.
year, and they're not terrible, but
Yeah.
you know, they're not going to blow your mind anymore. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think especially like shows like, Rick and Morty, even though they don't publish episodes all the time, new episodes all the time, like their quality. So you actually rewatch them. Unlike maybe
Yeah.
something like The Simpsons where you're probably not going to rewatch episodes just on a loop. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't know. I think there's some like series like that where you can just rewatch it and it's like no problem. It's still funny. So
Yeah, you're always finding new things that you never saw before.
yeah. Yeah, like I never saw the show before, Um, you really told me about it. I was just like, I've never seen it before. I've only heard good things about it. And then, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I've been watching the new season. It's
I
great.
know.
It's fantastic.
And
I
then the
watched
new ones are coming out now,
yeah,
right?
on Sundays I think it is. Yeah. So
So
I watched it this week.
I worked on that last episode that came out,
Okay.
and then after that, that's when I left and went. I got my new job, so
Yeah.
you won't see my name on the next episodes.
Oh, okay.
But there is that new show, Solar Opposites. It just came out today.
Oh, it's out? Okay.
Yeah,
Sick.
I'll send you a link so you can
Ah,
watch it if you
sick.
want.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you like Rick and Morty, you'll like this.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because I saw the trailer. It looks great. So it's funny. It's great.
A
My
lot of
favorite
people like
yeah,
it. Like a lot of people are saying it's like better writing than Rick and Morty. So
really.
that's something to think about. You
Interesting.
know?
Interesting. My favorite episodes probably Pickle Rick and Citadel of Ricks. I enjoy that one too.
Said it all right.
Yeah, I enjoy that one. But the new season's really good. I enjoy it. It's a great show. It's a great show. I love it. What's your favorite task when it comes to like animation? Like what do you enjoy about that? You have a lot of like obviously like brainstorming, drawing, all that sort of good stuff. What's your favorite task?
Like job or
Yeah, just like ideation, like coming up with ideas, like, maybe the first draft. I don't know.
I like the painting part usually. So
Okay.
like I'm an illustrator, so in terms of animation, I like to be the guy that like draws out what a scene could look like a
Okay.
concept art.
Yeah.
So, but the best part is like after the drawing, after the ideas, when you're just painting. Well, when I say painting, I mean like digital painting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when you just get to sit back and just pick colors and make everything work in composition and harmony and all
Yeah.
that.
Which is
Yeah,
interesting.
it's really relaxing. But that's why I got into children's book because it's very similar.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me
Yeah.
about the children's book. What was that about? Sort of how did you get involved with that? Like,
So when I was working at the studio, I was actually kind of getting kind of bored with doing just like backgrounds on Rick and Morty. I mean, I know that's like a
mm-hmm.
kind of snobbery to say, oh, you're getting bored of Rick and Morty, but with any pipeline job in animation, like most of the jobs, it's not your own idea. You're doing someone else's. Like Rick and Morty isn't my idea. Like I'm working on someone else's show,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of artists get to that point where they're just like, I want to do my own thing. I want
Mm-hmm.
people to recognize me for my style, for my ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, maybe I'll get into children's books because it's still drawing, it's still painting, and people hire you because of the way you draw. Like
Yeah.
if you look at like some of the famous children's book artists like Dan Santat or the Where Are the Wild Things,
Oh yeah.
they're hired just because of the way they paint.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I want to do this. So I've always thought about doing it. So what I did, I got this book. It has like a listing of all the kind of publishers. And I literally just sat down a couple of nights and just emailed every single one of them my portfolio. I'm just like, I'm a new children's book illustrator. If you have any projects coming up, let me know.
Yeah.
I sent out like 100 emails. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
And and luckily while I was working at the studio, one of the publishers actually, they had lost one of their illustrators.
Okay.
And they needed a new one to replace her like last minute. So they contacted me and that's when I had emailed them.
Awesome.
And so they needed someone to do like a 6-month job in 4 months.
Wow.
And this was like my first book. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Okay. I didn't know anything.
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, like this is a great opportunity. And so, yeah, so the publisher was called Familius, like the Latin word for family, Familius.
Cool. Whereabouts are they based? Is that?
They're in the States. I can't remember where.
Okay. North America somewhere?
I think, I can't remember what it was, like Utah or something. I can't remember.
Okay.
Probably look it up. But yeah, so it's actually a Christmas book. It's called Santa.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of about what would happen if Santa kind of modernized and became like an Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about how like the Christmas spirit is lost and they need to kind of figure out their roots to save Christmas.
That's great. I love it. So with that project, how did you sort of come up with your ideas and stuff? Did they give you an idea about what they wanted for like, did they give you like maybe the text first and like jot notes of like maybe their own ideas of what it might look like? Or did you just build it from the ground up based on their drawings?
So what happens with children's books, when you're an illustrator, usually a publisher they'll pair you up with an author. So they'll be like, oh, like, okay, so this author has this manuscript or like a story. Story's already written.
Okay.
And they'll be like, okay, this story, this author would be really good with this illustrator style.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll do that and they'll contact the illustrator and be like, okay, would you like to read the manuscript? Tell us what you think. And if you want to give it a go, we'll negotiate and all that.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with me. And so they gave me the manuscript. I actually had to pitch them a spread. Like I had to do an illustration of kind of like a rough illustration of what it could look like, one of the pages.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did that and they're just like, oh, this is great. And then, so then at that point, I read, after they hired me, you read the script over. I read it over a bunch of times. I'm just like, okay, who are the main characters? What are the settings? And then I'm like, okay, so these are the things that need to be designed. So I started designing all the characters, what they would look like. And then you send them to the art director and then you get revisions and, okay, Santa's nose is too big or maybe the colors are too saturated on this character.
Yeah.
So that's first. You do this is what I did at least.
Yeah.
The characters first. And then after that, after the character's all approved, I go in and actually do a rough pass of what the entire book will look like, just line drawings, just like really rough, like for all the compositions. And that'd be like equivalent to like a storyboard in animation.
Okay.
So it's just like a rough, so you can like flip through and you can see what all the pages will look like just where the text is going to be placed, where all the characters are going to be placed.
Okay.
So then you send that in, and once that's approved, then you start doing the colors. And then, again, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of revisions. Like when you're sending stuff to the publisher, for this publisher at least, they're giving it to like a team. Like the team's looking and being like, okay, we need more diversity in the character skin color. Like this is a big, like these are
really? Wow.
Yeah, these are huge things because if it comes off as like racist or sexist or something, or whatever's going on in our culture, if it doesn't line up, people aren't going to want to buy the book, right?
Yeah.
So they carefully look like, okay, which color this year is popular? Like, is purple the color people like or gravitating towards?
Really? Wow. That's crazy.
There's a whole marketing team that looks at this.
Wow.
And it's kind of frustrating as an artist because they'll send back their feedback on things that like I've thought about.
Yeah.
They just kind of overlooked and they're just like, no, this is bad. Change this, where I spent like nights like poring over designs. But again, at the end of the day, it's my drawings, it's my illustrations, it's my style, which is amazing. In the animation industry, if you want to have your own voice and style out there, like if you want your own Toy Story out, it's going to take like 8, 10, 15 years before you can be a director or a writer for a film. So I see children's books as kind of like a backdoor into, just showing your own voice to the world.
Yeah, and being creative in your own way. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
So once you have like the line draft of the pages and stuff like that, you get the feedback, and then from there you just build out the pages, like add the colors, add the characters. Yeah.
So I'll do a rough pass of the whole thing, and then once those are approved, I'll go in and I'll start just doing clean. I might even just go straight to color.
Okay.
I'll send them like, okay, I'll send like a complete color, and then they'll give me revisions on that.
Great.
And I'll do all of them. Like we had to do that for like the cover page, the title pages, the end pages, every single thing, every illustration it's usually done by one person.
Wow.
which is crazy because like the amount of work that goes into the illustrations versus the writing,
Yeah.
like it's a lot more. But when you go to like a book signing, who are
Mhm.
people looking for?
No, it's true.
They're
Yeah.
looking for the author, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because
Yeah. It's
the illustrator's doing a lot of the lifting, and the author's the one that gets the praise usually.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Like I can't even name an illustrator for of a
right? You
children's
can't
book.
even
Yeah.
name one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't name one. But it's so true though, because when it comes to like the overall just appearance of the book, the art is what really matters, especially for children's books.
yeah,
Because they're just learning whatever language the children's book is in, so they're not going to be focusing on the words. It's more on the drawings. Are they engaging? All that sort of stuff. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. It's the shapes, the colors, all that.
Yeah.
That's what draws their attention. And the story's important too, but when you're young, you're not thinking about that as much. You're thinking about pretty pictures. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure. You said something earlier which was very interesting, about sort of the studio life. And you said that you wanted to sort of be creative, do your own style, all that sort of stuff, which is why you sort of tried the children's book.
Yeah,
I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize, especially when it comes to not even just like art in general, but just a lot of different industries. When you like work for a company, you know, you have to do things based on the company's guidelines, based on their style, because especially for things like, Rick and Morty, you can't use your own artistic style for those characters because the characters have to
yeah,
be the same for each frame. So I thought that was very interesting.
yeah. Like if you want to get into the animation industry, like get used to drawing other people's style. Like
Hmm.
when you get hired for a show, say you're working on The Simpsons, you're gonna have to look at like a style guide. Like they show you like this is how eyes are drawn, this is how fingers are drawn.
Yeah,
You know, like sometimes this line needs to be tapered or it needs to be cut up, needs to be thick here.
yeah,
You know, this is how shadows are done with this type of character. Like if you're getting into the animation industry because you like drawing your characters, like you're not going to be doing that for a long time. Like
for sure.
especially for your portfolio, like have a diversity of style. Show that you can draw whatever is needed for the show.
Yeah,
Because they're not going to be like, oh, let's hire this guy because he can draw Batman this way. No, you got to draw Batman the way that people draw Batman
that they draw
normally.
about, man. Yeah,
You know?
which is very interesting. I don't think a lot of people realize that, you know, and it just goes down to consistency of the show. You can't have different styles of Batman on,
Yeah. I mean, and
on a
that's not a
cartoon.
terrible thing. Like drawing other people's stuff is like drawing Spider-Man. Like that's cool. A lot of people
Yeah,
like that's what fan art is. People
yeah,
love drawing other people's stuff.
yeah,
You know, like there's the comic book artists. Like I was talking to my brother about this. A lot of comic book artists, they're kind of crazy. Like they're just drawing Batman like hundreds of times.
yeah. That's
They didn't
true. Yeah,
even invent Batman.
yeah,
Draw him over and over and over again, and
that's
have
true.
enough will to do that. Like
Yeah,
it's it takes a certain type of person to be able to do that.
yeah. But I get why, like that could be great for some people. Even it's just fun in general, but also having the other outlet of doing your own thing as well is beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's why it's really important when you're working at the studio not to take things too personally because at the end of the day, it's not your story
Yeah,
usually. So don't get mad if you're not drawing the way that they want you to.
yeah,
They're thinking about the show as a whole. They're not thinking about your feelings per se. I mean, it sounds bad, but
yeah,
it's true. It's a team effort. So,
yeah. And
do your part and you get to be in the credits and on a cool, you get to
yeah,
be in Zootopia too or whatever. Like that's cool, right?
for sure. And it's important, for any field, not even just like creative fields, but just to be able to accept feedback, and not take it personal.
Yeah. Having thick skin is like one of the most important traits I'd say in working as an artist, studio or not. Like you're always going to have someone giving you feedback
Yeah.
and if you can, the people that grow the fastest are the ones that can adapt to that feedback and grow from it.
Yeah. Not take it personal, actually improve their stuff based on that feedback.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. For new artists, people that maybe are in high school, maybe even in elementary school, let's say, if they're looking to get into art, what sort of recommendations, tips would you give to them, if they're looking to get into art or animation, any of those creative fields?
I mean, like with anything, like be really specific. Be like, okay, you want to be a storyboard artist, you want to be a fine artist, like make sure you actually have a specific path, because then you can actually start making goals that line up with that path.
Yeah.
But like in general, like every artist needs to know the basic things. They need to know like anatomy, perspective, composition, color theory, all that stuff. Like, well, I'd say one of the most important things I've done, like even in the most recent years, is I go to life drawing, which is like going to a studio and drawing a model. Because in every animation, every comic book, there's going to be people. Like, you can't escape people. We're people. We like looking at people.
Yeah.
So therefore, you got to learn how to draw people, right?
Yeah.
And then another important thing I do is I'll paint like from life. I'll paint like outside, draw landscapes, draw interiors, whatever. Because the more of a visual library you can build in your head, if you know how to draw a chair from your head because you've been drawing chairs so many times, you won't have to pull up references for drawing chairs. You know it, right?
Yeah.
So just constantly be drawing. I mean, I know it's like when I was starting out as an artist, I didn't like animation, or I didn't like anatomy. I didn't like drawing people and bones and muscles.
Yeah.
And I kind of forced myself to do it. I don't know if that's the best path. I'd say as an artist, draw what you like drawing. If you like drawing like unicorns, draw unicorns, because eventually you're going to get really good at it, and then you're going to get bored of drawing unicorns, and then you're going to draw something else.
Yeah.
And you're going to get into something else. Just kind of let it flow, kind of let yourself grow into the, because I kind of like, I would draw like, I don't know, like guitars or whatever a whole bunch of times, and I got bored of it. I'm like, okay, what else can I draw? And then I started drawing something else that I like drawing. Then eventually it kind of fell into drawing people, and now I like drawing people because it just naturally happened.
Yeah.
So I'd say like, the 10,000 hour thing, just keep drawing, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because like, at the end of the day, also, you want to get hired for drawing and painting the stuff that you like drawing.
Yeah.
So if your portfolio has a bunch of elephants and you don't like drawing elephants, guess what? The art director is going to hire you because they can see that you can draw elephants.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because they don't know what you can draw until they see it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're not going to guess and be like, oh, this guy can draw all this stuff, so he must be able to draw cars. But if you don't have cars in there, then why would they hire you to draw cars? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, do the art that you like, but also, those fundamentals classes, like when you're in art school, they teach you the elements and principles of design. Remember all that?
Yeah.
Try to take that seriously, because it's like so useful.
Yeah. Which makes sense. So you do a lot of drawing on the side. So is there anything else that you do on like a regular basis? So you do the life drawing, you do the painting. I know you always used to do the painting.
Well, I used to when we could.
Yeah.
We could see people. We could leave the house.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else that you do? Do you do like just a lot of digital stuff? Mostly digital stuff?
Well, besides like traditional painting and drawing, I take courses online whenever I can.
Okay.
Like a few great websites for like concept art and stuff like that are like CGMA, the Computer Graphics something Academy. Like they have really good courses for 2D, 3D, all that stuff. Okay. There's a site called Schoolism. I took a lot of courses on there. And then for illustration, there's one called SVS Learn, the Society of Visual Storytelling.
Very cool.
I just took all the courses I could. And when you do these courses, do the assignments. Don't just watch them. Like, especially as an artist, like if you just watch them and then be like, oh yeah, I know how to do this now. No, you have to be able to apply it.
For sure.
Take it seriously.
Yeah.
Pretend like the assignments are like from a client, or you're getting marked on it. Take it like seriously.
Yeah.
Being able to finish something is way more important than being able to finish something correct.
Yeah. Yeah. And that makes sense. I think a lot of people like make that mistake, especially when it comes to online courses or just certifications. They just want to get the certification and they don't really actually do the work that they're asking.
Yeah. Like when I was in like illustration and animation school, like I think a lot of people are under the impression that once you have that degree, that piece of paper, you're just going to get hired.
Yeah.
And especially in art, that's not how it works at all. A degree means nothing. Like everyone says this and no one ever believes it. High school kids, they never believe it when people tell them that. I didn't believe it either, but you get that certificate when you're done and you don't have a portfolio, you can't draw, you're not going to get hired.
For sure. Yeah.
Like I didn't even finish animation school. I didn't finish illustration school, but I had a good portfolio. And
Yeah.
I focused on, I picked a path and I'm like, okay, I want to do concept art or whatever. And I made a portfolio that caters to that, and I got a job.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it comes down to, have you been practicing? Have you been putting in the work? Really?
yeah, it's a labor of love, art, especially. Like it's not an overnight thing, you know. For all those paintings and drawings that you see that are amazing, those Pixar films, there's like 10,000 more that are just garbage drawings that you never see, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
You see those like art of books, those concept art books with all these pretty drawings. That's not even half of what is produced. Like there's so much garbage
For sure.
comes out before they can get that perfect like Nemo character, you know,
Oh yeah.
or you know, Mike from Monsters Inc. Or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many just terrible drawings that you don't see
sure.
it. Right?
For
So
sure.
you have to love it. You have to love that process.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you have it in any field, but like sometimes I see it sometimes, is that some people try to sell art and they're just literally just starting out, and it's just like, oh my gosh, why are you trying to sell this? That stuff kind of triggers me. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's good. It's good to have confidence, but you also need to kind of be humble and know when you're not there. Like, you know, these are like
sure.
cliche things, like compare yourself to yourself,
Yeah.
not to someone else, right?
Yeah.
But it's also when you're starting, you should also have idols, have like a bunch of artists that
Of
you want to
course.
draw like, because if you don't look at anyone, you're just going to keep drawing like yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but definitely, yeah, compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not who someone else is today, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, and be realistic, put in the work, you know what I mean? Like you can't just start drawing and then say, hey, I'm gonna start selling art. This is like my side hustle. It's just like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean, even like when I was in like recently when I was working at the studio and I was like, yeah, I'll just do children's books on the side because why not, right?
Yeah.
No, you got to go like all in on that too, like because there's people that just do that and don't do studio. Like I got to compete with those people. So
for sure,
whatever you do, don't take it seriously. Like
if
it's drawing, if it's whatever, working at Cinnabon, take it seriously. Kill it. You know.
I do
Especially
agree
if
with
you
you.
want to like grow and make it a career. Like give it the respect it deserves.
No, for sure. When it comes to your creative process, is there anything that you do like before drawing? Do you like just jot down ideas on a piece of paper? What does it look like?
Okay, well, so when I'm usually coming up with like, say like an illustration, like a story moment or whatever, I'll like for a few days at least, I'll be thinking about the idea. I'll tell like my friends or my girlfriend, I'll tell them the idea and kind of get some ideas. I'll make lists of like ideas. So like say the idea is like carnival. So I'll write that down and then I'll be like, okay, what's at a carnival? Clowns, rides, cotton candy. I'll just keep making a list of every little thing. Okay, and like, what's the story? What's the feeling? What's all of these things? What's a clever spin on this? What's a way this idea has never been told before?
Yeah.
Because with especially with illustrations, it's not about the technique usually. It's not if you can make it look super rendered or realistic. It's about the idea, the concept. Like remember that show we used to watch, like Sticking Around?
Oh yeah, Scradley.
It's Scradley. Yeah. Where it's like it's just like stick people, right?
Yeah.
And we still watched it. It's like terrible animation, like terrible. Yeah. Just it looked like a kid drew it, but the concept behind that show, the stories, the characters, those are what made it interesting.
Yeah.
It's not it being pretty. Like say a movie like even like I don't know, Finding Nemo. It didn't need to be pretty like that. It could just be a normal 2D show or whatever. Like super simple. The story is what makes it resonate with people. If it makes you feel something that you remember from your childhood or an experience, that's what you want. So yeah, a big part of my process is the concept. Is before the even drawing starts, all that work.
Yeah.
Because if you sit down and just say I gave you an idea like hockey rink, you're gonna draw the most cliche version of a hockey rink right away. Like you're gonna draw that rectangular shape with the boards, and that's gonna be your. If you go with that idea right away, people aren't gonna want to look at it. They've seen that before, right?
For sure.
So like literally take the time, do thumbnails. Like I was gonna, yeah, that would be the next step. Start doing thumbnails, draw a whole bunch of versions of what this composition, what this idea could look like.
Mm-hmm.
Do 30, 40, 50, 100.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to stumble upon something that maybe hasn't been done before.
That's cool. Yeah.
You know?
I like that. For like say your inspiration and stuff, is there maybe any artists or maybe any like just people in general that you sort of look up to when it comes to say motivation in the creative field?
I mean, I could tell you like some, I guess, podcasts that are some art podcasts. Well, there's just one artist named Marco Bucci. He lives in Toronto. Well, he lived in Toronto. I don't know if he still lives there.
Okay.
And he's a concept artist. He used to work at studios too. So, and he actually does children's books too. So
cool.
Kind of a similar career path, but he has a bunch of videos on like, teaching color and theory and composition, character, all that stuff.
Cool.
And just the way he breaks it down and teaches is just, I can't compare it to any teacher I've ever had. It's amazing.
That's good.
And then there's this other podcast called the Society of Visual Storytelling. They have a podcast too, and there's like 3 children's book illustrators that run that.
That's cool.
And yeah, they'll do critiques and talk about the industry. But again, like whatever you're into, like you're gonna start to find your heroes.
Yeah.
And just like kind of look at like what their career path was. Look at their art. Like how do they draw feet? How do they draw? You know, just imitate them. You know, when you're starting out, just imitate, copy.
Yeah.
You know, and then eventually you're gonna start to combine all these different styles, and that's gonna become your own style. But that takes a long time.
Which is interesting. Yeah. But that's all part of it. I was reading an article today actually talking about sort of this AI program that runs a bunch of tests and algorithms to create its own music. So it'll take a bunch of like snippets from Jay-Z or whatever, like thousands.
Yeah.
And then it will start like actually producing music like Jay-Z, which is pretty crazy.
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. I should send it to you. It's actually pretty nuts. Book of the week. Every single podcast I do a book recommendation. Do you have any book recommendations?
Like one of the best books I've read is what's it called? There's the Dale Carnegie book. Your dad's talked about it. How to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
And then there's that book Influence.
Yeah.
These are just really good books for just not manipulating people, but negotiating with people and communicating
for sure
properly with clients or having an interview.
Yeah.
That's really important. Books about like cognitive biases are really good too, just for understanding how people think, I find. Yeah. I mean, I know it's just a personal thing. I'm into I like evolutionary psychology and stuff. I find it really interesting.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like I get into sort of streams of books and then I'll start just reading them. I recently, I think you would enjoy it. It's a book called Caffeine. I think you would enjoy it just because you're a coffee drinker. You should read it. It's great. Yeah. Literally drinking coffee. It's called Caffeine. It's actually really interesting. It talks about the history of coffee and why people are so addictive.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. It's not long. I listened to the audiobook. It was good. I do recommend that.
Oh, there was one book actually for artists specifically. It's called The War of Art.
For sure.
I've heard of that.
Stephen Pressfield, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And it's all just about resistance and getting over obstacles. And I think a lot of people who start out in art or any field that requires the 10,000 hours, I'd say.
For sure.
Should definitely check that out because we make up so many excuses in life for doing things that we should just it really puts you into perspective. You know?
Yeah, no, it's so true. Awesome. Do you have any app recommendations? Do you use any apps on a regular basis that sort of make your life better?
I don't really use my phone that much. The only app I really use is what's it called? Not Flux. Flux is the computer version. It's called Twilight. And that's just to turn off the blues in your phone at night.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no.
But yeah, I don't really use my phone that much.
Yeah,
I don't have a Fitbit or anything like that.
Yeah. You communicate through Google Hangout, which is the only person I've ever talked through with
Be
Google
surprised.
Hangout. I know it's just very interesting because you're not like active like on social media and stuff.
And I should be like, again, that's another thing artists should really think about,
Yeah,
because having a following, if an art director or whatever publisher sees that you have a big fan base, they
yeah,
might be more likely to hire you, because like, oh,
for
this
sure.
person already has thousands of fans,
Yeah,
so this person might, those fans might buy this person's book,
for sure. Yeah,
you know, or like if you're getting hired at a studio, you're like, oh, a bunch of people like this person's style. Okay, then they must like it enough that we could use it for a film,
yeah,
or a TV show. There's already a fan base built in there.
of course.
It's like a really good marketing tool.
No, no, for sure. It makes sense. Like if they put out one tweet, say, "Hey, I'm working on this book or whatever, or show," like it's just more publicity, free
Yeah,
publicity.
it's
Yeah,
just free marketing for
yeah,
the firms, which is, it's great. Why not use that, right?
yeah. Um, you should join TikTok. There is a
Yeah,
huge artist community. If you're ever looking for like, I don't know, something to consider. Like it's actually kind of crazy. Like there's I follow a bunch of artists, like graffiti artists and stuff that do these, and just like painters and stuff that do these
yeah.
crazy paintings and then they flip it around. It's very interesting. So check
Is
it
that
out.
the one with the videos? Or?
Yeah, it's like Vine 2.0
Oh,
basically.
okay.
Yeah, like before everybody was just like, oh, this is like the millennial platform, like it's just children on it. No, it's like that's what it started at because it was originally something called Musically, and
Yeah.
then it was bought and then sort of transformed into this very interesting platform. So I do recommend it. It's cool. Like people make like 6-second videos of just them painting, and it's interesting. I don't know.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
actually,
cool.
people I find, especially with like social media sites like, or apps like Instagram,
Yeah,
people are way into process.
yeah,
Like they like to see, because I think it makes them feel like, oh, this is possible. Like this artist didn't just make this masterpiece out of nothing. They
for
went
sure.
through all those steps, all those failures to. There's just something about that. People love like art of books. They love seeing
Yeah,
YouTube tutorials
the
tutorials of like how it's done, how it's made.
the behind the scenes people
Yeah.
enjoy it. That's very cool. I think that's it for today, to be honest. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
Uh,
Any pressing topics in your head?
no, I mean, if you want to check out the book that's coming out,
Yeah,
it's actually coming out in September. The book that I illustrated, it's called Santa.com.
great,
You can pre-order it on Amazon,
great,
and just type in my name and you'll see it.
awesome. And then what's your website?
It's just my name, RyleyGarcia.com,
Great. And then you have
or Riley with a Y.
with a Y, yeah,
Yeah.
2 Y's. And then you have Instagram.
Yeah, and my Instagram is just my name, Ryley Garcia.
Awesome, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Thanks for coming on. I think that's
Oh,
it for
thanks.
today. The last thing that we do on every single episode is a question of the day. It's a question that you can ask the audience. They can ponder it for the rest of their life or for the next hour, whatever they choose. So it could be anything. Yesterday's question was, would you be willing to, this was with a professional soccer player. He said, would you be willing to live half of your dream for more money, which is like basically be a substitute soccer player, like the people that are on the bench, or
Yeah,
live your entire dream for less money? That was an interesting question. So whatever you think.
that's a toughie.
Could be anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's your favorite color? It's a good one.
So you want me to ask a question then?
You asked the question, yeah.
Uh,
It just
I don't know. I got nothing. I don't know.
got nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
How dare you? That's my question.
Okay, how dare you? That's perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you for coming on, Ryley. We've been meaning to do this.
Yes.
You know, I miss you so much
Yeah.
on the other side of Canada. I'll have to come visit BC soon.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. And once this epidemic or zombie
Pandemic.
apocalypse
Yeah,
is over, yeah, me and my girlfriend, we're definitely going to come out to Toronto. We're planning on it, so
perfect. Sweet.
we'll come see you. And
Yeah.
family and all that.
Yeah, and then I will have to come out to BC because that's where it's at. That's
The Koori.
yeah, that's the Kubi. I love it. All right, man. that is it for today. Thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, we'll see y'all later. Peace
Awesome.
out.
Living the Canadian dream.